Welcome back to another episode of Reality Court. My name is Ace Fanning, and I am a loser with a podcast about sister wives that I don't know why people listen to it, but they fucking do. And I am joined by my very beautiful, but as some may say, you know, too old to be wearing the makeup she does, which I do not agree with. I do not agree with. Screw that commenter. Screw them. Ana Quincoces, former Real Housewife of Miami, the apple of my eye, my sister wife. You know, you're my wife's sister wife at this point.
I'm a little old to be your sister wife.
Yeah, we are joined today by a very beautiful specimen. And when he popped on, I thought maybe he had grown a mullet very fast because he's got a plant behind his head, but he did not. We are joined by the host of Gabbing with Gim podcast, Gibson Johns. How are you today, my little feller?
I am fabulous. I am growing out the mullet behind me, and yeah, you're giving me some ideas.
Kyle cuts it off.
I have
and
a
you
mullet
get it.
currently. And I need to cut mine, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's not.
I'll take the reins
anymore.
from you. Perfect.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Now, Gibson, before we get into everything Bravo, it's important that we swear you in to the reality court because we don't need you going out telling lies. We don't need you, you know, I don't know any court terms, but habeas corpus comes to mind.
Sounds right. Yeah.
We don't need you to do any of that. I don't know anymore. That's the only term I know
talking
is
to
habeas
our
corpus.
constituents.
No objecting.
And talking to
yes,
the
exactly.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So Ana, if you would please swear in our boy here.
All right. So I thought your name was Gibson. Somebody said Gibson, and I'm like,
commonly people think that my name is John Gibson because it's Gibson Johns.
So it's Gibson John.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I gotta say something. I love the name Gibson.
I do
you.
too. What a cool name.
I've never met anybody else with the name, so
That's nice.
as a first name, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
That is very cool. All right, Gibson John, raise your left hand. We raise our left hand here. I, Gibson John, do solemnly swear. Okay. Oh, you're going to repeat it. Perfect.
I didn't.
Don't repeat it.
Listen, I don't know how long.
No, I like the repeating.
Okay.
I like the
Okay.
repeat. Okay, repeat after me. I, Gibson John,
I, Gibson Johns,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to tell some version of the truth,
to tell some version of the truth,
to own it, to not be all uncool, so help me Andy Cohen.
to not be all uncool, so help me Andy Cohen.
Thank you. It's important that, you know, you don't want to lie on Andy's behalf.
I did.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah,
I always
very
think,
important.
actually, if we really do talk about court for a minute, it's like, what, like you putting my hand on a Bible, put my hand in the air, like well, that's not going to make me tell the truth. If I'm a liar, I'm a liar. So, you know,
I'm also not
I'm going to
religious.
lie through my teeth if ever I'm in court. You know, now
whatever it takes.
Gibson, we have a lot of stuff we need to get through because there's a lot happening in the Bravo world.
There is.
And I want to talk to you first about Real Housewives of Atlanta. First off, how are you feeling about our kind of reboot in Atlanta? Are you feeling good about things?
I'm feeling much better than I expected to feel about this.
Okay.
3 episodes in, like I was highly skeptical of it, especially given the Kenya situation. But I you know that Portia Williams is going to deliver good TV. Like she's meant to be on TV. That's where she belongs. Feels like home having her there. But to me, the real kind of bonus for them is Shamea, who has just filled a gap that I didn't realize she could fill, that I realized I needed her to fill. I'm loving her, like kind of across the board. And
Yeah.
it just, I don't know. She is a breath of fresh, and she, I think, is the real reason why this feels so good so far.
She's giving old Bravo Housewives vibe, you know, from years ago when everybody wasn't produced, when it was all about glamour and, you know, exaggerating your wealth probably. I like that. That's why we came to, you know, running to watch Bravo in the first place.
There is something so refreshing about Shamea. I watched this thing where they asked each of the Atlanta housewives like if they use high end stuff or low end stuff for stuff, and they were like skincare, and she was like, I wash my face with the same stuff I wash my ass with, and that I appreciated. You know, that's what we need more of.
We're getting high low. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
High low is great.
Okay,
even if it's fake.
Yeah,
I
You might not believe that.
No, you know it's not true. She's way too gorgeous to be washing
No,
this. She's not using a pert, you know. She's not using a 2-in-1.
You don't have-
It doesn't even exist anymore.
her house has 2 elevators in one, so she's not using 2 in one in the shower.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely
exactly.
not. I want to talk about, now I didn't know that we had actually gotten LaToya Jackson on the show. Miss Angela Oakley. That nose is a Jackson nose, if ever I have seen one. ABC 123. It is something to talk about. How are you feeling about Angela Oakley and especially her nose?
Yeah, I mean that in the most recent episode when they're at the Balmain store and they're going back and forth, Shamea and Angela over her nose, and she's like, "You're in the Jacksons." Like that is the kind of verbal sparring that I like to see on Atlanta. And then one of them, Kenya, comes over and she's like, I heard we were talking about physical things over here," and then Shamea's like. And then Angela's like, "Well, that's Flavor Flav." Like they kind of go toe to toe, and I'm like, you know what? Let's not get butthurt over like, you know, these frivolous things. Just like let it. They're pretty good at going back and forth with one another, and like the nose is nosing, and she's having a pretty good attitude about it, I would say. And Britt also kind of has that nose, I feel like, too, a little bit. But it's really Angela.
You know, I feel like they keep talking about Charles Oakley. Now, I am pretty much a straight man, and I don't know anything about sports. And so they keep throwing this name around. And I'm like, I don't know who this man is.
I didn't know who he was. Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
so cool that he's there. It's so cool that he's there.
He's a big name, I'm guessing.
NBA.
I'm
very
sad
proud
to
to
admit
be
it.
married to
Listen,
him.
if you're big enough to get thrown out, to be kind of blacklisted from Madison Square Garden, then like that means you're somewhat of a big deal to somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that is true. You know, it's a good point. The only thing that does bother me about her, though, is like she's been with him for like 8 years. And in my head, they are like the Larsa and Scottie Pippen. Like they've been together forever. And I was like, oh, once we found out they've only been together 8 years, I'm like, he lived a whole other life before you.
Totally agree. Yeah, I totally
You
agree.
weren't a basketball wife when the things were happening.
She might have been a side chick, like a side piece. Yeah.
Because the way
We'll get into it for sure.
Right, because the way I was thinking about it was like she had sort of let his career and everything sort of take center stage for their whole relationship, and now it's her turn to be on Housewives, and kind of that's sort of how I thought it had gone, but I guess that's not the case.
Right.
And that's how I like it. That's how I like my Housewives, you know?
Yeah.
Gibson, have you been approached by anyone to be a side chick at all? Like anyone famous or anything like that?
No, I haven't. And now
yet.
I'm kind of offended. Yeah, now I'm kind of offended that I've never. Exactly. But I'm fielding offers.
I feel like maybe you're not putting yourself out there in the right way. We did talk about promoting your podcast, Gabbing with Gib, but I said, what about your OnlyFans? And you're like, I just want to kind of keep that hush hush for now.
Yeah.
I think
we're laying the groundwork maybe. Should I go down that road?
Why not?
If I was young and good looking and in New York, I would be the biggest sugar baby slut you ever saw. I would love to make my money laying on my back. There would be nothing I'd love more.
The problem is, where do we look? You know, I don't know how you start that journey.
Seekingarrangements.com.
Okay,
Bumble.
let me write that down. Bumble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Bumble.
Yeah. Listen.
Tinder, open the age range. Okay.
Oh, don't even bother with people under the age of 55. Just switch it up 55 plus. If they have a picture on their Bumble with an oxygen tank, that's the one you want. Because it means they're close to the end.
That's the golden ticket. Yeah. Okay, so I'm the second coming of Anna Nicole. Maybe that's
exactly.
Please.
You want to go with people that are too old to get it up, too old to really engage in any physical activity.
Okay.
No, you give them some Benadryl early in the morning. They pass out for the rest of the day. You have your time to yourself. I just feel like, Gibson, you're a very good-looking gentleman. It looks like you take care of yourself. Like, don't let that go to waste. It's not about, oh, I'm smart, I'm educated, I worked at Yahoo. Like, none of that's really important anymore. It's
or
just
I want true love.
No,
fuck that.
It's overrated.
Yeah.
Overrated.
Yes. Listen.
Okay.
Not now.
So I want to talk about this whole Drew, Dennis, Portia situation because I was first of all, I want to say I was shocked that Drew came back. I was shocked that they asked Drew back. I was done. I felt like after we saw her sing at the reunion, I didn't think there was a coming back from that.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that she's the only full-time person from season 15 that is also full-time on season 16.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, that's true.
Kenya would have been one of them along with her, but Drew is the only one. And I agree. Like my issue with Drew, like I don't fundamentally dislike her. I just feel like I've never gotten the truth from her. I feel like we're always skating around something. We're always kind of like, I mean, even the editors this season are just calling her bluff on everything. And it's just like already, and we're 3 episodes in. When I feel like I'm not getting the truth from a housewife, it's hard for me to get on board.
And you know what that is? That's really insecurity. She doesn't think that who she is enough. And you are enough, Drew. You are absolutely enough.
Mm-hmm.
Give us.
Oh, I don't think she's enough. Drew. I don't think there's enough there.
Okay, Drew.
I just am like, you're boring at this point. I don't care. I don't care about Drop It with Drew. I don't care about your music career. I'm like, listen, there's been one that I can think of. One good song that has come out of a Bravo housewife, and that is Drive Back by one Miss Candace. That's about the only song.
She's the only one that's truly talented.
Yeah, but it's song. Like, I don't need any more Drew music in my life.
And I also was like, maybe once Ralph was out of the picture, once they actually filed for divorce, like maybe that would free her up, you know? Because I feel like part of it before, it felt like she was covering for his misdeeds, but now it just feels like maybe they were both flubbing the whole time. I don't know. Like it's just. It's a facade to me that if we can't blow past that facade 4 seasons in, I'm like, that's a long time to let that go.
How badly do you want cameras to go to that basement?
So badly. Same.
I'm like, what the hell does that basement look like?
And Ralph's out here like doing interviews saying like she's not allowed in the basement. Like that's my territory. I'm like, okay, what is going on down there in the lower level?
Yeah. It's got a sex chair.
Oh, to say the least.
At the least. Uh-huh.
I want to bring charges against Bravo, which is not something I like to have to do. I don't like to have to file charges against them, but I will say that I am finding them very guilty in regards to the Kenya situation, because Kenya's still a presence, and I wish that we were still with her. I wish that we are full-time. Mm-hmm. I wish we were getting confessionals. And 2, so she put up a picture of Britt sucking a dick. Like, Gibson, I saw the picture of you sucking dick. You know, I've seen pictures of Ana sucking dick. Like, that goes around. That's part of the job.
It's, you know, 2025, like, baby. Really? Exactly.
Seriously, like, why is this such a big deal? I thought that sounded like a great storyline.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, honestly, exactly. I don't know exactly how it goes down, honestly. That's the hard part. But, like, I am tending to side with where you were coming from, because, like, I also feel like, okay, let's say it's terrible, right? And we lead up to this event. She clearly crosses some major line, should get suspended from filming, which is what happened. Like, I think that it would be more impactful if we were seeing her personal scenes, seeing her confessionals, and then they just sort of pull her out of the equation. Then it's like, whoa, like Kenya fucked up. But I feel like the way that they're doing it, she's just like sort of this weird background character, but like she's Kenya Moore, so it's impossible to be a background character when you're Kenya Moore. It's just like this weird feeling, and we all know
she's being suppressed. Like,
yeah, but it's like we're not idiots as fans, so like that's where it's a little bit insulting, you know.
I think the kiss of death is when they give a name, a moniker to something you've done. This was revenge porn. Now, Bravo has no choice but to punish her for it, because it's revenge porn. It's not like, oh, these girls are up to their antics again and all that stuff. No, it's revenge porn. You got to do something about it, because if not, they're in deep shit. And I understand it, but it's the way the machine works, but it sucks.
Mm-hmm. Aren't we in a day and age, though, where we don't want to cancel people anymore? We want to see them have to go through the struggle of learning their lesson.
It depends who you are. If you're a big corporation, you still have to at least pretend you're going to, you know, at least teach them a lesson.
I love Kenya Moore so much. And I'm glad that they're going to bring Phaedra in. I'm happy about that. But I would love to have Phaedra and Kenya. I would love to have Portia, Phaedra, Kenya, Cynthia. Not Drew. Yes.
Not NeNe? What do you think about NeNe saying she wants to come back, or that she would consider it?
Say less. You know, I'm on board with that.
Do you feel like, though, we would get the old NeNe, or are we going to get that stuck-up NeNe who doesn't want to get into the thick of it?
It's a really good question. I feel like some of this situation has really humbled her in some ways, and in some ways probably not. Like, I feel like on one hand, there's always going to be a faction of fans, probably myself included, that is like blowing smoke up NeNe's ass and just like letting her know the legend that she is. But on the other hand, I do feel like the legal action she took didn't work. So like she's kind of been humbled a little bit in that regard. Like her power has been suppressed, and she has to recognize that. Right. But yeah, imagining what it would have been like if it was Kenya, Portia, Phaedra, Cynthia. Like that's glory days status. Like that is
right.
Good.
Oh God.
What do you think of Cynthia on the show?
Yeah, well, I feel like part of it is actually the Kenya situation, because you have to imagine that her and Kenya she's Kenya's friend, I think, on the show technically. Mm-hmm. So like she was probably filming scenes with Kenya that are being cut out. So now it's just sort of like she's this like, again, sort of just like pushed to the background. We're seeing she's actually having some pretty good confessionals, I think, but like otherwise she's just sort of like showing up to the parties and like being there.
But is that much different than the Cynthia we had as full-time? Like, I actually was not excited about her coming back, and I'm like, I'm actually enjoying her. You know, maybe less Cynthia is where Cynthia's best.
Yeah, I think she's kind of just like having her there's something comforting about it, I guess. You know what I mean? Because like she is this sort of through line from season 2, I think is when she joined. So like she's I'm never gonna complain about having Cynthia around. Let's just say that. Yeah. But I wish she was getting a little more time.
She's the only housewife, I'm pretty sure, who has given us not just one wedding, but 2 weddings in her time on the show. That's big.
And she should be commended for that forever. Like she should always be a friend, and she just has that friend ticket.
Yes. How are you feeling about those full body confessionals? They took a page out of Dubai, and they're doing the full body.
And were you in this group text that I'm in this morning going off about the full body confessionals?
No, but I need. Can you add me to it, because I've got a lot of thoughts and opinions.
I don't. They're not working for me totally, and like, I think it's literally a technical thing. They're not like blending into the green screen very well for me, so it pulls me out. I'm like, and on Dubai, I guess they were fine, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of the.
Oh, you think it's a green screen? Oh, they're doing
no, it's a green screen. 100%. You can see they're just like floating there. On Dubai, what they did is they put this like circle rug around them so that the rug was there, and then it made more sense. But now they're just straight on a green screen.
They're floating.
And I'm saying this as someone who did photography for 14 years. Like, this is why it's bothering me, and I get so hung up on these things, is it just looks so incredibly fake. And the one that bothers me the most is Shamea's, because she's in this bright ass white chair, and the chairs in the background are like tan, and I'm like, could we have gotten one of the tan chairs? Could we have gotten something that looks like she's actually in the room? Yeah. And Gibson, add me that fucking text. I'm so glad that you feel the same way.
Yep, I just don't like to be pulled out in that way. It's distracting. And listen, I'm all here for seeing the shoes, seeing the full look. I'm no complaints there, but it's not, the execution's off.
Yeah. Yes, when they did it on Dubai, I thought it was great.
Yeah, me too.
Back in my day, you could just wear like leggings or like what I'm wearing now. Toile pajama pants.
Stunning.
Did you Anna, did you film yours in your house?
Yeah.
And did you have to kick everybody out?
No, I mean, I've had a big house at the time, and so we would always do it in a specific area, but they had the whole day. And you know, the reason they look so different on now all the housewives get glam every day, but we would do our own stuff for every filming, but that day they gave you at the time $1,000, $500 for hair and $500 for makeup, so they would stay there, you know, most of the day. And so makeup artists want to kind of earn, back then it was a lot of money, I'm sure it's more now, and they make you look a little bit like too done. Haven't you ever seen how weird sometimes people look, not like themselves?
Yeah.
And
whenever Gibson gets his makeup done, I always kind of feel like that about him.
Yeah. It's like on your wedding day, you don't want to look different, but they do look different, most of them, you know, and the weird hair and all that. So that's how it was back in the day.
You know, I miss the old days of them being really in people's houses all the time. I was there one time when Dorit was filming a confessional, and it was really in her house. So I know they still go back and forth from time to time, but this green screen full body stuff it's just so cheaply done on Atlanta. I'm not happy about it. So I'm glad that we could get that off my chest.
The thing I did like that felt a little bit like old school Housewives 2, I think it was episode 2, when Portia is filming that scene with Dennis. Then she goes to the bathroom and she sort of has like the on the fly confessional moment where she's talking to the producer. I love that. Like they used to do that kind of a lot on Atlanta. I don't know about I forget about the other franchises, but I loved that. Like that felt like old school to me too. I loved that.
Yeah. I loved too when she was like, "Can I break the fourth wall?"
Yeah, and they're like, "Do it now, go ahead,
demolish it."
They wouldn't allow that before at all.
Yeah.
That was
moving across the country, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We're on our cash trip.
Yes, we are.
And Gibson, before we get into it, where do you stand in Beverly Hills in regards to Sutton? What are your feelings?
I will always appreciate Sutton for being there because she will bring the things up. But I have felt myself feeling the way that Dorit and Erika feel for a little bit of time now, where I'm like, how is she getting away with doing this over and over? Nobody was checking her. And then finally, I think it's a little bit overdue for them to check her in this way. And maybe that's why it feels even more pent up and like intense. But I think, listen, whoever said it in their confessional where she sort of creates these messes and then plays victim in that same mess.
She does.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that it's about time that she answered for some of this.
It was Dorit who said that. Or
Yeah.
I believe
I think
she
it was
told it to your
Kyle who
face.
said it.
You can't be the victim all the time.
And I am so sick of watching Sutton do this. And I think part of the reason I'm so sick of it is because I see myself in that. You know, I love to like start a fight, and then when people have a problem with me, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Seriously? Like...
She also is terrible at fighting. She does
She's
not
so
know.
bad.
Yes,
she loses her
yes.
words. She repeats the same thing. The Naaman wasn't just an isolated incident. If you listen to her, she'll say things twice, almost every
her
single
tactic.
time without exception.
Interesting.
To give her time to think, but then if we gave you time to think, come up with something. No, she's
It's also
terrible.
like, I just wish that, because she gets so emotional every single time she's cornered and every single time she's questioned. And I wish that she would just take a different tactic, like take like an Erika tactic where she's just sort of like, yeah, I did come for you. I was asking the questions that everybody wanted the answers to. And I volunteered as tribute and I did it. And it was messy, but like I was doing, like she doesn't own it in that way. She just like starts crying and runs away, which I don't love.
But that's why Erika is just
top notch,
one of the best housewives ever.
Yes.
She's very calm. You see her. She doesn't get flustered at all, and she just very matter-of-factly says what she has to say. And really, there's a lot of wisdom with Erika because she's been through it. And I really, really appreciate her more than ever now.
When we flashed back to Kathy Hilton's party and we have Erika sitting there and her makeup is completely ruined because her makeup is running down her face. But even then, she still kept her chin high and she was like, I may cry, but you will not see me break. And I thought, I could never. I cry and I'm done for.
Oh my God. Yeah. And listen, back then I was like, fuck yeah, Garcelle and Sutton, like ask her the questions, like hold her accountable. But now I'm like, you gotta like, I don't know, you just gotta take responsibility for it. And like, again, we were all cheering you along back then, and I don't know, it lands differently now. It does.
Yes. I was irritated too that Sutton was like, I thought it sounded like you said all women. Like, no, the women in this group, you idiot. She's like, all women is what you said. Oh, God.
This is what I'm telling you. She gets nervous and she'll just pull anything out of her ass to say something. She's really a one-trick pony. She really is. She just has one thing.
And that's like the telltale sign of like, you're wrong. You get hung up on like the semantics or the one.
Exactly.
It's distracting from the larger point, which is what she does.
She's the queen of that. Mm-hmm. She's the queen of that.
It's very
now, do you think that she's enamored by Kyle? Because did you see the loving, longing look she gives her? It's crazy. She's obsessed with her.
I do. And I've always thought I always thought that like Kyle's relationship with Sutton felt like one of her sisters. It's sort of this love-hate thing. And from Sutton's side of it, I don't really know how to explain it, but she definitely, I think a lot of it has to do with like I think that her issue with Dorit has a lot to do with the fact that Sutton has all this money. In her mind, she checks all these boxes. She lives this life. Like, why wouldn't you want to be friends with Sutton? And yet, people still choose to be friends with Dorit over her, and that drives her crazy. Right. And that's...
Plus, their wallets fit. right?
I think with Sutton has probably never been fully accepted. One, she wasn't accepted by Reba, which we all saw that, but probably growing up, she never really got to fit in. I know that she was like a ballerina, and I know like how bitchy that world can be. And it's like, I think that now she's like, I'm famous, I have money, and everyone should want me, and still nobody does it. It's because you're still ugly on the inside.
I want proof of the ballerina days.
We've seen a picture of her.
Really?
Receipts, proof timeline.
Yeah.
Okay.
With those legs? I mean, it's just incredible. Incredible. No, like incredible. Like physiologically, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
It's weird. I haven't seen it.
I feel like Sutton has the same trait that Heather Gay has, where it's like, it's this thing from like high school, like what you're saying. It's sort of like, it's this inner, it's never going to leave them. Yeah. And the difference is that Heather acknowledges it and Sutton doesn't really acknowledge it.
Right.
So true.
That's like you, Ace. You acknowledge it, but it stays with you. I remember telling my girls when they were young, like, keep it together, because like, don't do anything that will ruin your reputation, because if you were a slut in high school, you're a slut forever. I've been out of high school a little while, and you talk to me about somebody in high school, oh, she was a slut, she must be a stripper now, or a hooker. And it's obviously not true, but we think that. And so who you were in high school stays with you. So she's peaking now. She couldn't peak in high school. And it makes people obnoxious.
It's been hard for me to drop that slut accusation against me.
Yeah,
and I was the one who started it. I was like, oh, you guys know Ace is such a slut. He's been fucking everyone, you know? And it's like, I have to get away from that, and I can't. And it's just like, guys, I'm a dad now. I'm a wholesome man. I'm not that slut I once was.
You did the Regina George where you wrote about yourself in the burn book, and then you spread it. Okay.
Yes. Right. You know, and it's just tough. And everyone's like, oh my God, you're also like, you're so hot. You were so hot in high school, and you still are. And I'm like, I know, guys, please.
Life is so hard. That's really hard.
I will say this. In Beverly Hills, I've been upset with Garcelle because she just keeps not bringing it for me. But her fighting with Sutton felt good. And then her even admitting, she's like, I'm fine leaving Sutton out there to deal with it on her own because she didn't back me up. And I was like, that's the Garcelle that I love. That is the Garcelle I need more of.
Yeah, I historically love Garcelle, but she has not had a great season this season.
Right.
I feel like
I used to love Garcelle too. She used to be my favorite.
There's something just like frustrating about it until this past episode when I was like, finally. Like, I think that her and Sutton are fine. Like, they're still great friends, but we needed to see the wrinkle that we all knew was there. We needed one of them to acknowledge it, and Garcelle acknowledged it several times, and I love how she handled it. Like, I love that she just walked away. She called it out. She needed to do that not in the confessional. She needed to do that in the scene, and that's what she did when they were back at their room. She was like, I'm going to bed. Like, I was really happy to see that from her.
I feel like she's really we've heard a little bit about how she really brings it at the reunion and comes for everybody. Kind of.
Really? I don't think I've seen that. Okay.
Yeah. And, especially Kyle, and just like, why can't we discuss more, kind of like in keeping with her, if you want to be a lesbian, be a lesbian. Kind of in keeping with that, whole narrative.
Gibson,
she's doing that.
I do want you to be careful, though, because Ana comes with a lot of misfacts. So she thinks that she heard that somewhere, but if you're like, I haven't seen that anywhere, just be careful. Don't go spreading that.
This is a reality court where we tell the truth. So
tell the truth. Listen, guys, I read it. I wrote it, and then I read it.
Say it, forget it, write it, regret it, as Dorinda Medley famously said. Yes.
I want to talk about. True. Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I bet you're right for sure. I don't think you ever have your facts wrong. Southern Charm. Oh my God. Gibson, did you want to listen? I wanted to marry Craig. I wanted to be with Craig, and I'm starting to have like a change of heart on Craig, and that's been very difficult for me to be in this place. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think from everything that we've seen and heard, like, I am finding myself on the Paige side, on the Summer House side of it. Like,
it took a while for me, but yes, I agree.
It's just and I forget, because it's on Southern Charm, it's like slightly earlier in their timeline, and so on Summer House, it's like, I'm like, whoa, the clarity is just like right there. It's like everything everything she's saying, it's just so obvious what happened between them, and like, man, like,
she gave him so many clues too.
She totally. And like, it's this, I feel like it's so layered because on the one hand, it's like, and we know that later in the season, she'll have some sort of breakdown over like worrying whether this is going to, if she calls it quits, like, is it going to impact everything that she has going? And like, that's the layers, right? It's like the relationship is clearly not working, but she has so much going on that like, what is she going to do? Like just overnight decide to end a 3-year relationship that millions of people are following along with, and then she'll disappoint all of them because they're the number one couple on Bravo. Like, it's this layered thing. She's going on tour. Like, she doesn't have time for that shit. Like, decision. It is.
Yeah.
But it just feels like he has this a little bit antiquated version of like what he pictured for them as a couple, and she is like very much doesn't fit that mold at all.
No,
and increasingly so doesn't. And so like, man, it's weird.
I just feel the only thing I feel badly about is that, you know, a relationship with somebody that you're committed to should not change depending on what's in your bank account. You know, I know that she's done really well with her podcast. I know the tours have, you know, brought her a lot of money. But, you know, if you didn't like him before, I don't know. But I also think that the more she's gotten, she's become more alpha and he's become more beta, you know, and that's just not attractive. It's just not. That's not an aphrodisiac to most women. Right. And he's whiny and he's just kind of turned a blind eye to stuff, and it's so obvious.
It's so obvious, and like I just feel like I do feel like at the beginning of their relationship, she pictured herself wanting these things earlier, and she just doesn't. She's not there yet, and so like. It evolved, and then she didn't realize it was evolving almost, you know, and like he just totally was blind to it.
Right.
And the drama with Kyle does not help things, the way he's handling all that. No, so it's just sort of like
I know.
Here's my thing is, and I agree with Shep on the fact that he's irritated that Paige was never on trips, never really filming or anything with them. And I know Anna won't get this, but Gibson, do you remember when we would have on Disney like That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, where it was 3 episodes and we crossed over, and you know, and I think back to, oh yeah, I know, but I remember like when Beverly Hills went to and Bethany was there, and she was first meeting Erika, and I was like, God, it felt so weird to see our crossovers, but I wish they had worked out the Southern Charm and Summer House better, and we had more crossover happening, because I do feel like it would be such a better show.
Well, I think that, and this has sort of been percolating in my mind, and I don't know if I'm wording it correctly, but in my mind, the Paige and Craig breakup is almost like the culmination of like the Winter House experiment that happened during the pandemic, because that show was born out of production, you know, necessity. Parameters, right? Yeah, and we just lock them in a house in the winter. And that's where they first met, and they ultimately got together, and we've been following them on both shows. And I feel like we know that, you know, a wedding or a marriage or what have you drives interest, but a breakup drives way more interest. And like the fact that this number one couple on Bravo that met on Winter House, they're on 2 shows still. I feel like they're feeling this is like the perfect storm of what they wanted from Winter House in a way. But I agree, now that they're not going to be together, where's the crossover going to happen? We're almost in like this next, they need like another chapter of this, you know?
Yes.
Renew Winter House for next season.
Yeah, I love the idea of it all coming together, and now I'm sad. And I was really sad for Craig in the beginning, and then just the more we find out, I'm just like, oh shit. Like, did I choose the wrong side of history?
He also knew, but I think it's incredible how people outside of, you know, watching the show are still talking about it, like, and how you know, the way we think about it, how it's evolved. Because at first I was 100% Craig, and now, even though I do like to play devil's advocate, I really, you know, she has a right to change. Women evolve, people all evolve at a different rate. I was married for 23 years, and we didn't evolve at the same, you know, we were kids when we were married, and so now we're different people, and we didn't end up in the same place. That happens. The sooner you figure that out, the better. Right.
And I'm wondering if you guys think about, like, because Sierra has said no more showmances for her. Like, I feel like Paige has probably learned doesn't want to do this again. Craig, who knows, maybe he would go with Sally on Southern Charm. But like, we're also at this point where like on a lot of these shows like Summer House, Southern Charm, they know, I don't know if they're down to do the showmance thing anymore. Some of these longer running vet cast members, and like that's an issue. Like we need these people to hook up with each other and date each other for the shows.
And by the way, Sierra's full of shit because Sierra is going to have more showmances for sure. She can't help herself. She can't.
You
help
think her and Jesse?
And I love
together?
her with Jesse. I mean, first of all, I think she's still in love with Wesley.
Got it.
Like,
there's definitely feelings there. For sure.
There is some sexual tension there, and Jesse, Jesse doesn't, as beautiful and everything as that girl is, he's not really that into her. Mm-hmm. It's too soon, too fast. Like it's freaking him out a little bit.
Right.
So I feel like I'm sick of these people being like, well, I want to keep this off the show. Well, listen, I'm not paying you. And by paying you, I mean watching you and talking shit about you on podcasts for you to hide stuff from us. Put it out there. Fuck who you're going to fuck. Let us love them. Let us hate them. That's why we watch these shows. And it's like, the problem is these people stay on these shows too long and then they understand the game and they get their experience and they start making their own calls. Kick their ass to the curb. Get rid of them.
Absolutely.
I know you guys had Brian Moylan on recently. I did too. And like one of the things we talked about was like, it would be so great if they almost had this like built in, like, okay, you get to 5 years, 6 years, you have to take a mandatory year off. Because then it's like, yes.
That is the pause.
You have to do it because it renews so much. You touch grass, you like get some oxygen away from this. And like then I don't think that you would get these issues where like you're around for 14 years like Kyle Richards is and like you think you can cordon off this one aspect
manipulate
of your life.
the game.
Yeah.
Manipulate the game. I think that it also humbles them. And I think that's important. And I think that's going to work. That would work for everybody. It really hasn't worked for Dorinda.
No, it hasn't.
Like, you don't know who I am. It's like, that's a little
because
crazy.
Because the show went to shit after she left. So
exactly.
That was the worst thing to happen to Bravo was that Dorinda, they get rid of Dorinda, then the show tanks. And it's not necessarily because they got rid of Dorinda, but it was just like now in her head, that show can't last without me.
Without her.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes. I want to talk about this JT Vanita controversy that's going on because I'm going to tell you right now.
Yes.
I know that man for a fact that he said some black girl. And you know how I know it? Because when she went over to his place and he was wearing those white fucking pants, I knew that is not someone you can trust. That is not somebody you can trust. No, absolutely not.
Retire the white jeans. Like
I thought I was going crazy because the barber said on the phone call, like he basically said that JT said that, and then he was like, "I'm sorry if I repeat." Like, and then JT essentially admitted to saying something derogatory about Vanita and then they blamed Ryan. I thought that I was going crazy. I was like, "Why are we?" I don't know.
And
it's
Ryan comes off as very on it. Like you could tell Ryan's telling the truth.
I totally agree with you. That made my blood boil. I hated the Southern Charm finale. I hated it.
And I think
why?
that
Like,
Vanita
what
knows.
does she see in him? Like, he's the ugliest. Honestly, I mean, don't come for people's looks, and I shouldn't be
we
throwing
say
glass
that, but we do it every
40 minutes
time.
after we talk about LaToya Jackson nose. Right?
Yes,
okay.
I shouldn't
and
be
Sutton's legs.
Yes, I really have no room to talk about people's looks because I'm not that cute, but it's like, God, he is so ugly. And she's so gorgeous. I'm like, girl, go somewhere else, please.
I think that he was the one that was available. You know what I mean? Nobody had dibs on him because nobody wanted him.
No.
Right. And like they had this like kind of like, I guess, fun
Friendship.
rapport last season. And so they probably were in her ear like, oh, go for JT. It's mutually beneficial. But then he actually has something ongoing on the side. And like, because she's needed the big storyline. She's been on the show for 4 years and hasn't really had anything major happening.
And so did he really leave the show? That he quit, apparently? He had a little fit? Yeah.
That's what he said.
Like, I need answers about that on the reunion. Like, I don't understand.
Right.
I was shocked that he shows up for the reunion.
I know.
Yeah,
I was like,
thought
wait,
he
I thought
wouldn't.
you were done, and now you're going to come back for the reunion?
That's where it's like, I don't even trust this guy because he can't help himself. He loves the spotlight. You know what I mean? So I just don't think he's a reliable narrator about anything. I really don't. And I do think on the Vanita side of things, there are things that are a little questionable too. But ultimately, I think that he let her astray in
I
some
think
way.
that I'm always willing to look past any red flag someone has when I hate someone else more. So it's like, because I hate him so much, I don't see anything she's ever done wrong.
That's a good rule of life. Yeah.
She wants to believe him, and I feel sorry for her. Women,
too.
we all do that. We all do that. And I think her response has been very true to life. I think he used her. I think
totally agree. I think so too.
I feel like JT is the perfect example of him. Is you're at a friend's party and you're playing truth or dare, and then he goes and he does dare, and someone says, I dare you to go home. And that's to me like the definition of who he is. Like, just
you're right.
go home.
Wow.
I dare you to go home.
Totally.
That's tough.
Yeah, and now he's like this man in this small fish in a small pond in Charleston, but like he has money now, so he like feels a little bit more empowered, but he's still kind of like the pick-me guy.
Nobody cares though. Nobody cares about him. I feel like
impressed.
he's like Jennifer Tilly, and nobody really likes him. Nobody really wants him around. I personally like Jennifer Tilly, but he's the Jennifer Tilly of Southern Charm.
With less money.
Yeah, well, with less money, but I think his mother has family. He has family money.
Less money in an event space that we always film at for some reason.
Right.
Yes.
Instead of his house. Yeah.
I'm confused. What is wrong with Molly? Why is Molly into Shep? Like what's gone wrong in her life that she's like, oh my God.
What do you mean? She's told you the entire season. She's told you what's wrong with Molly. Poor Molly. She's completely insecure. She's not happy about her weight. She's not happy about anything. She's a beautiful girl. I don't understand where that comes from, but that's her truth. And he's going to hurt her. He hurts everybody.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to come on the show, then I'm a huge Shep fan.
Listen.
But
yeah, it's like he just uses this like, I guess in person he must have some sort of charm, because I don't understand. Otherwise, I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Like how, which is to me does not come across on TV at all. But Molly, you're right. She's talked about all this insecurity, but like she is like hilarious, beautiful, smart,
and talented,
career driven. Like it's just sort of like. I don't know. It hammers home that like the ratio of women to men in Charleston is really unbalanced, and
really?
The whole thing is that there's like 1 million women there and like not enough men, not the ratio is not
women.
No, there's not enough men for them. Yeah, so that's why the men are all that's why they're all Peter Pans who just like there's always the next hot younger thing.
Were you shocked though? I just need to ask him, because were you shocked though by Shep's, Sienna situation? Like, as he was reading those text messages and your freckled lips, and that's,
oh my God, freckled lips.
That has been my TED Talk. Like, the most cringeworthy moment I think I've ever seen on reality TV. That's a big statement, but
incredibly embarrassing. Yeah. I mean, freckled lips is to me the highlight of the season, which is low bar, but like, I feel like he just thinks that he has his life together, like across, like he's, he drinks less, he probably exercises more, he's like less of a fuckboy than he was last year. So all of a sudden he thinks that he like, the thing missing was the woman, and I think the first person to give him any sort of attention, he just like had googly eyes for her.
I hope he doesn't become the next Thomas Ravenel, you know what I mean? He's already 46.
He's already there.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I know that I said the thing about JT, but another one is I feel like Shep is the equivalent of getting like Armani exchange cologne at a Ross. Like it's just, it's like we know that that's not what you're really getting, and it's like,
really?
It's
you think those are fake colognes?
I think they're filled with half water. It's disgusting, and it's got the wrong scent. It's got like poopery mixed in there. Like, women see them and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Armani Exchange." And when it's in your home, you see it and you're like, "Oh my God!" But then you don't know that it came from Ross, and it's like it's not the same. It's not the same thing.
But you're still fooling some people.
Yes, some people just can't they can't help themselves. They see that label and they're good to go.
He has pedigree. And in Charleston, that's really important. He's well read. He comes from a nice family. The Rose family has history. And I think that we forgive him for everything, because a girl, if your mind is in Charleston, where it's really, your world is so tiny, you think Shep is huge. To us,
Right.
he's just this, kind of dick, But to those girls, he's a big deal.
Yeah.
But I think if he hurts her, I'm coming for him.
And ultimately, like, this show, unfortunately, in my mind, is the man show. Like, it's like, it was apparently supposed to be called Gentleman's Charm originally.
Yeah.
So, like, it's literally from it's their perspective. And like last season they said goodbye to Olivia, which I think was a huge mistake, but it's because she already had another guy. She was done hooking up in the group, and they were like, all right, let's bring in two new women. Yeah. And like, that's just how the show operates.
More concubines.
That's just how, that's literally how it operates. It's crazy. It's really, I think, and for me, it's frustrating because I would like to get to know these people better before we say goodbye to them. But it just enables that behavior, I think. It's just sort of like, all right, we're done with Molly and Sally next. All right, who are the next two,
Going from Southern Charm, I want to hop on a Spirit Airlines flight over to Salt Lake City because, god damn, I love Salt Lake City, and it never stops giving. Jen Shah's prison sentence has been reduced once again, and I'm excited about that, but I'm also like, why are we not picking up the cameras in prison? Like, one of my favorite documentaries on Netflix is Girls Behind Bars, or whatever it was called, and we go behind bars, we see how these girls interact. I would love to see Jen behind bars, and
she's got everything under control there. Like, she is
yeah.
Her and Elizabeth Holmes are locking that shit down. Yeah.
I can't believe that we're just wasting our potential here. It really pisses me off.
At least get somebody to call in, record the call,
Yes.
Whitney would do it, like
that's a perfect friend of role. It's just Jen on the phone, Or and I think sometimes they can do like FaceTime. So it's like Jen, friend of FaceTime, and she's doing everything she can to get the best like confessional lighting she can,
Totally.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
She's
taught everybody how to do their makeup.
Yeah, she's got like low cut prison outfit.
Oh yeah,
tits out.
She cinches it with a belt.
Shirt tied up. Midriff out.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Do you think Bravo brings her back when she's released early next year or whenever the fuck it is? You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think so.
I don't know if they will do it right away. Okay. But I think that a big storyline will first be her getting out. But I said this to Brian Moylan. I said, imagine that we get Jen, and it's like we hear the slammer door shut, and then we see her walking in like her prison outfit, and then it like morphs to her going past a wall, and she's then like her sexy tan legs, and then she steps into the heel like Barbie did, and it's like pans up, and she's like, "I'm back, bitches."
I'm back.
And,
Bitches. Kind of like Heather Dubrow coming back, but better.
Yes,
even
totally.
better, way better.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was about to say there's this iconic shot actually of Jen Shah from like the first season where she's stepping into the snow out of her car with her heel. It's like a whatever. So you can just have the heel in the snow and we're done.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. I think that Bravo is, what they're going to do is they're going to take the temperature. This is just my prediction. The temperature of the audience about Jen, kind of tease a little bit, and then they really listen to what people say on social media, and see if people still remember that she fucked up the future of many old people and took advantage of the elderly, which is triggering to most people. I think, we have parents, we have grandparents, and that's fucked up. So if that's still top of mind, I don't think they will mess with Jen Shah. But if most, let's face it,
right?
We don't care about that much anymore. We still
it'd be ratings gold.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if it's just that I don't care for old people or what, but I'm like, listen, people make mistakes. They, we have to forgive. And I think that I've forgiven her for, she did her time, right? Like, what more do we ask from somebody?
Was restitution? Was there restitution?
Well, how's she going to do restitution if she doesn't have a job?
That's true. Yeah. To me, it's sort of like, I'm curious with this coming season of Salt Lake, like how much past that it feels like they get to, you know what I mean? Like does it feel like it brings the show backwards? Like I agree that like they have to be entertaining the idea, but they've proven they can do the show without her. So
how much time does she have left? Because they're going to
reduce 2026.
Yeah, now it's
like
next,
September 2026.
Yeah, so it's been reduced a lot, like 4 times or something crazy. So I feel like it could be reduced again. Like she could be out by the spring.
She could be out by the next Salt Lake reunion. Make an appearance. Here's my thought. Okay, if Bravo's listening, because
bring her in the van.
I feel like with Bravo, we've gotten away from some of our cinematic storytelling. Remember when we get Sheena going from Lisa Vanderpump's party into Sir, and it was like we started Vanderpump Rules, we didn't even realize what was happening. Here's what I think that they do. Before they bring Jen Shah back, we end the season with a cliffhanger of her foot in the snow. And then it's black screen, and then we're done. Done with the season. We go to the reunion, whatever. There's no mention of Jen Shah anywhere, but we're all thinking about that shot. And we're like, what was it? And if they decide that they don't want to do Jen, it's someone just big, controversial. It's Monica. It's whatever. But it gets everybody excited to come back. Our cliffhangers suck these days. We do too many to be continueds that aren't worth it. I think
agree.
We end the season with a bang.
I mean, listen, season 1 of Southern Charm, Catherine and Thomas are broken up. 9 months later, crying baby.
Yes.
Come on now. Come on now. We've lost the cinema. You're right. We have.
Yeah, we have. Let me tell you, I know that Andy listens to this podcast.
Oh, for sure.
And
every day.
For sure. And honestly, they need to make you part of the development team, Ace, because you have some really great ideas. I'm not kidding. I'm not blowing sunshine up your ass, even though you love that and you need it.
I do love that.
I'm not doing that right now. I really do believe that that's brilliant. That is brilliant. Who's not going to watch that? I've got fresh perspectives.
They would get those cameras up so fast filming the next season because people would be on edge to see what the next season was bringing.
They never go down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No. And we have to work so hard. It's like a Kylie Jenner pregnancy. We cannot let anyone see Jen out filming with cameras.
Oh, no. We're putting her in the suitcase like they did with Taylor Swift back in the day.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gibson, before we go, we like to ask every guest about their thoughts on RHONY and what the fuck do we do? We all feel like we're at a loss here. Everyone's got their own different ideas. What do you think we need to do at RHONY to get this show back on track? Yeah,
that's the $1 million question. I would first get rid of half the cast. I would get rid of Bryn, Uba. Who else would you get rid of? I would maybe demote one or two. I would make Jenna a friend. Okay. I would Jessel. I really like Jessel, and I think she's kind of a star, but she kind of has a little bit of the Drew Sidora thing where I'm not sure if we're fully transparent.
Oh my God.
Here.
That is the most accurate statement I've ever heard. Those are the same person in different cities.
It's like there's a slight facade there, which I'm interested to crack through that with her, so I'm down to give her another chance. But I do feel like even just pulling Bryn out of the equation, it almost feels like, because she is such a domineering force in that group, and she has been since their time on camera, I think that they all kind of almost fell in line behind her in terms of how she approached the show, and I think that
you think that's what ruined the show?
I think that set them off on the wrong foot in a really big way, because she was operating so weirdly behind the scenes. Clearly, I think it had trickle down effect on all of them. Her shtick was old in 5 seconds. I just think that if you pull her out, and I think there's a lot more oxygen in that room, and there's a lot more just willingness to be open. And honestly, I think similarly to Uba, she's really difficult to argue with. I think she's kind of like a blockage, and
she doesn't
constipation.
engage.
Yeah, and I'm just sort of okay, it's hard to imagine that somebody like Aaron or Sai or Jenna and Raquel don't have a friend or two, a real friend in their life who wouldn't be good on camera, who also lives a great, cool New York life.
Not Rebecca Minkoff.
Oh, next question. I was so done with her from episode 1.
Me too.
And then I think that it almost feels I don't know if you guys have noticed that it feels because fans have been saying, and I've been saying, I would be interested to see a Paige and Lindsay addition to that show at some point, whether that's in a season or two, because they have a built-in sort of frenemy dynamic. They're aging. They're sort of transferring out of the summer house lifestyle, I would say, and like they live cool lives in the city. So like I wouldn't be against that at some point either. But I don't really need like stunt casting. I don't need another Rebecca Minkoff experiment like that.
No.
I don't care about the name. I care about what they actually bring to the show. And somebody like Shamea
Would you
Morton
mix
is
it
like,
with the older cast?
no, I wouldn't.
No.
Thank you.
No, and I will defend those women until I die.
I want those women on their own show. I want the legacy that we were
totally.
promised.
I just don't think that like they have. I just don't think that it would work for this to mix it up.
No, it wouldn't be cohesive. They don't have
like,
enough.
But like I would kill to have them back on TV in any capacity.
Yes. Think about how Dorinda treated Tinsley. You know, like we would get that
it's so
way
dismissive.
worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And like you said, Dorinda, it's gone to her head a little bit, or a lot. So it's sort of like put her with the people that she respects and can check her, which is Luann, Sonia, Ramona, all those women. Like they feel comfortable all together.
And let me tell you, they still have huge fans. Luann did a show here this weekend, and it was packed. I didn't go, but Christian went. It was packed.
I'm sure. I mean, they are some of the biggest wattage stars I think across Bravo. Still, I really believe that. And like, I would. I was saying I would watch them on a season of Girls Trip every year. Send them one place for 1 week. I would watch that show without fail every single year. I would.
The problem with the Girls Trip though is like it didn't feel like we had enough skin in the game. Like,
I agree.
I want, like, there was no reason to really fight with anybody. You know, we kind of got Ramona being a bitch about the house, but I wanted more.
I think
Kristen was sort of random.
She was so
yeah,
random.
Kristen was very random.
I'm just like, I would watch these women pick their noses. Like I don't like anything, you know, like they're just so watchable doing anything to me. So I don't even really care what environment they're in, to be honest.
Here's my thought with Roni. If we bring Jessel back, she needs to promise us a divorce. I need to see her and Pavitt fall apart.
Pavitt.
I hate him so much, and I want him to suffer. And I think that would be good on television. I think that'd be really good on television.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we can see Pavitt perpetually earning points, flying to and from, Vietnam.
A travel
wherever.
miniseries. Right. Exactly.
Yes. Ugh, vomit. Last bit of news we have is some breaking news coming out of from Dumois. And that is that there's been all these rumors that Andy Cohen is on his way out from Bravo, which I do not understand, because Andy is Bravo, Bravo is Andy. What are we doing here? Now, I did hear they were shopping around some names, and Ace Fanning was one of them. And then I say, you know what? Maybe we do that.
Maybe it's not a bad idea.
But he said that people said there's a big announcement coming in April or May for like the upfronts or whatever it is, and they're thinking, oh, this is where they're going to announce that he's going. And he was like, no, that's not happening. There's no big announcement. Well, the big announcement supposedly from Dumois is that they're launching a new franchise, which I have been saying for months now.
For a long time.
Real Housewives of Chicago is coming. I know this to be true. And the other part of the bit was that somebody who's been a housewife before is kind of leading the cast in wherever this city is.
Oh, Tinsley?
Well, but then I don't think she went to Chicago. She went to Chicago with the coupon king.
That was the coupon king, right? Oh my God, you just got me
immediately
so excited.
I went.
Right.
But I was like, oh my God.
Chicago?
I have no idea. Nobody lives in Chicago, you know?
No.
But I love Chicago, and I'm so excited for this. And I still stand by the fact that I think this is happening. I'm too close to the source.
Because you got it from a reliable source. Remember, you're under oath.
I got it from somebody. Yes, I got it from a source who is friends with somebody who's friends with somebody filming.
Oh, okay. So
that's basically
that's like the surprise party.
Yeah, that's basically Andy's
That's
mouth.
an urban tale, like the peanut butter and the dog and the surprise party and all that.
No.
For sure. For sure.
I mean, Gibson, are you watching Real Housewives of Chicago?
I'm watching Real Housewives of anything. Let's be fucking real.
Same.
Come on. I'll give them all a chance. Like, I watched Dubai, didn't love it, but...
How do you feel about Miami? Like, are you excited about the new season that's coming out in June?
I'm really excited about Miami. I think... I mean, it's like, I think it's just such an incredible cast. I think everybody mostly pulls their weight. And like, I'm actually really excited that I feel like when it's on in June, it might be the only one on for a while, which like.
Well, that's strategy.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a good thing for Miami because I feel like since it's been brought back. At first it was on Peacock, and then it was on Bravo last season, and like the ratings weren't as great. Nobody was really talking about it because it was a crowded field. I love that it's going to have its moment in the sun and like just, I agree. Be the one that people can really latch on to for a certain amount of time because it deserves it.
I think if they do, they will watch. I think they will watch even when it's a crowded field if they're given a chance because there's a lot of good stuff there and a lot of people that are willing to do and say anything.
Have you heard anything about the upcoming season?
Just not really. Not okay. Just
she's very excited for Stephanie.
Okay.
I am very excited for Stephanie. I suspect that Stephanie is going to bring about the same kind of envy from the bros that Nicole did because they dream of a real, lifestyle that's not all smoke and mirrors and that you can just walk into her maze and they give you anything you want and the PJ and all that stuff. So I do think that she's going to ruffle some feathers and I love that.
Yeah, we need that.
Think, and I think that I could do without certain people. Like I find Larsa so boring, but she has the numbers and then, I can guarantee that Gertie's going to be super over the top. Because
I think that Gertie could stand to recalibrate a little bit sometimes. But
thank you.
You think? Think?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, she needs to stop. She needs to stop because I think it's hurting her.
Do you remember, like, the thing about Miami is sometimes I think back on episodes, I'm like, that was a fever dream. Like when Alexia went to meet up with her dead husband's gay lover for a lunch, and we were just like,
you can't write this shit.
No, like that was insane. And it's like, why are people sleeping on Miami? I really do feel like it's one of our best. It's up there with Salt Lake.
The story is there, and that's what makes it so compelling to me. Obviously, the personalities are amazing, but the actual story has been great throughout its entire run, to be honest. And like,
I think it needs. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I think it needs new producers. I mean,
she doesn't like their producers.
I don't like them, and they've kind of fucked me several times, and not well. Like if you're gonna fuck me, fuck me.
Good.
Not like kind of no. Don't do the whole just the tip thing. No. So I don't like. So I don't like them. I think in the hands of an Alex Baskin or somebody else, this show would kill because the women are very eager to do whatever it takes. I think they understand the assignment for the most part.
Right, and they knew what it was like to be taken away, and that's
right.
Like we said with the sabbatical, right? So it's like.
You're so right. You're so smart, Gibson. Gibson, thank you so much for joining us at Reality Court. We have loved having you. People can find your podcast, Gabbing with Gib, anywhere that they listen to podcasts. I always love when people are like, where can we find it? It's like, wherever the fuck you listen to podcasts.
Yeah,
like, right wherever you listen to this one, babe. Yeah.
And we love that he's part of the RHOA family.
Yes. So happy to be here.
This was great. I hope that you'll come back. I hope we didn't scar you too much.
Definitely.
I need to have you guys.
Back.
We're gonna hold a court session. Is that what they're called? A court session on Gabbing with Gib with you two soon. So let's
hell yes,
repay the favor.
For sure.
Nice.
And then when Miami comes back, we need to discuss your first just what you think.
Perfect. Yeah, premiere episode. Yes. Let's do it. Done.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, court is officially adjourned. Thank you, Gibson, for joining us. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Herdat. And as always,
thank you to our listeners.
Oh, thank you to our listeners. That's right.
5 stars. Please. 5 stars. Subscribe.
Yes,
Ace is very, very sensitive. No, you can say whatever you want about me and my eye makeup and all that. Please don't say anything about Ace.
No.
And just really.
You know what, Gibson? Are you sensitive too?
No.
Oh yeah. No, I am.
Okay, don't say anything about Gibson either. Just that he's hot, he's cute.
Shut up. The 1-star reviews when they're like, they say something, some cheap shot at you, that shit stays with you. It does.
Oh my God. I have to talk to one of our reviewers. You gave us a wonderful, wonderful review and then by mistake put 1 star. Please go back and fix that.
Well, sometimes you know what I think happens is they forget that they wrote the review and then they decide they hate us and they're like, one star.
See what his problem is? Do you
Don't give anybody
the
ideas.
way the brain works? Oh my God, no. She really,
don't say anything bad about me or Gibson.
No.
Feel free to just really lean in on Ana. She's fine.
I have the thick skin of a former housewife, so I really don't care what anybody says. And the age, you know?
Yeah.
I don't
You got
care.
the age for sure. Thank you, everyone. And of course, as always, thank you, Beyonce. Please don't let the Illuminati come after us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.